Hello, happy Wednesday. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Transformation Conversations, episode 12. Yes, I said episode 12. Good evening. Welcome to your Wednesday night retreat for a conversation and dialogue that'll help usher us into transform in whatever arena that you are striving to grow in. I am Coach Gayl Benson. I am your host tonight for Transformation Conversations, and we are going to be talking about looking and seeing. Now, I know we want to dive right into this conversation, but at first, I have got to acknowledge my A1 number one. Hello, Queen. Hello. Thank you for coming on. Good evening. I want to do some quick housekeeping. Thank you so much for being on tonight. I'm excited about this conversation and I'm definitely looking forward to the comments. But before we get started, I'm going to do some quick housekeeping to say come in, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. You know how this goes. Like and subscribe to this thing. We can come back and have these conversations every single week. As long as you are coming, I'm going to be here. And even if you're not here, I'm still going to be here. So when you get back over here, I will be here. Okay. So thank you for coming in. I'm excited about this discussion. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell so you'll be notified when we are live and we are coming together as a transformation tribe and we're getting ourselves put all the way together so that we can help ourselves on our journey. So tonight we are talking about looking and seeing. Now, this is something that my pastor talked about, and it stuck with me. And you know how sometimes something just continue, you can just hear it over and over again in your head. But then I started reliving some experiences that I had that I was looking, but I wasn't seeing. And that taught me a big lesson about discernment, about intuition, about looking past the surface, spending more time connecting with myself so that my energy, we have to pay attention to our God-given gifts. God gives us the gifts. We must use them. So looking versus seeing, okay? I'm going to tell you this, I'm gonna tell you what the one instance that came back to me that I was like, wow, I was looking, but I wasn't seeing. And I was so overwhelmed. This was a few years ago. I was buying a house and I was just looking. I was looking at the surface and I was like, oh my gosh, this house is beautiful. Oh, I can't believe I can afford this house. And just was all over cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Okay. And my realtor was trying to tell me, like, okay, let's just let's get through the walkthrough and just really see what's going on here. But I was so enamored that how big the house was. It was in a great community, and the street was the same as my last name. The street name was called Benson Place. And I was like, this is it. This is it. This is where we're gonna move. This is gonna be our home. This is it. But I was looking. I was looking. I wasn't seeing because really deep down inside, there was something already telling me something is not right. But I was looking, baby. I was looking. Come to find out, the house had so much water damage that had been covered up with paint. There was water behind the house, and evidently there had been a storm of some sort. I don't know if it was a hurricane or just a bad tropical storm, a thunderstorm, and the water had come inside the house. And we have to be mindful to look past the surface because we'll get excited about what we're looking at, but and not seeing what we need to see. And when I heard that message, I immediately went back to that time where I was so overjoyed with that house and I was only looking at it, but I wasn't seeing the house for what it was. And when we move around and maneuver in life and we're just trying to coast through the next thing, yes, honey, we have to look past the fluff and the shiny stuff. You better say it, Queen. We gotta look past the shiny stuff. You know what I just did? You hear what I said? We gotta look past the fluff and the shiny stuff, baby. Hey, I'm on the roll, and I just got started 10 minutes ago. But that was funny. Thank you, Queen, for that. Yes, we gotta look past all of that shiny because we all know that saying that we've heard growing up that everything that glitter ain't gold. And sugar and salt look the same. Baby, look, when I tell you that is the truth in life. And it seemed like it was just a popular thing to say, but it is so very real. It's very real in business, it's very real our professional and in our personal lives. And what I found when I started looking at how I practice this is that I just sometimes we got to be still and trust our intuition. God gives us these gifts. I promise you, if we spend time with ourselves and with Him, He will teach us and develop us in our gifts. So being still and actually not getting ahead of ourselves, making sure that we have, the information so that we can make a real informed decision, whether it's a lifestyle change, whether it's relationship changes, whether it's moving, whether you're doing a career change. We have got to see what we're looking at. We can't just look at things. We need to see exactly what we're looking at. And some of those things by doing that, I got to peel back here to my notes. So when we do that, we have to have our inner vision. And when we connect with our inner vision, we do that by spending time doing mindful meditation, just spending time and connecting with our own energy because some of us have a lot of energy and we overlook it. We don't spend time with ourselves and our energy. You know why? Because we divvy up ourselves and we divide ourselves into so many pieces for so many people and other things, whether it's family, work, kids, social media, you know, other people that we give ourselves to, or we spend time being the hub where people come and dump on us, and that energy sits in us. And then instead of deflecting, getting that off of us, we try to find a way to live with it. We cannot live with everybody else's stuff, with everybody else's fluff and they shiny stuff because people will come to you dressed up and be broken into shattered pieces. So we have to see who and what we are looking at. We do, Queen. We do. We spread ourselves so thin and we don't bat an eye before we do it. Why are we so self-sacrificial? We will spread ourselves, we'll be damn near transparent where you could see through us because we've divided ourselves up into so many pieces to be available to people and things instead of selling into ourselves and maybe taking the time to look at what can we let go? What can we stop from coming into our space? What can we shut out from our ears? Who can we give them 50 feet? Give me 50 feet. Because my Lord, my Godfather used to always say, you have to handle people with a 50-foot pole or a long handled spoon because if you don't, they'll bite your arm off. Okay. As a child, I heard it all the time. But as I started growing up and not just listening to his words, but watching how he handled people, I started learning who them spoon people were. I started understanding who the spoon people were. And me as inquisitive, nosy as I was as a child, I was like, well, I wonder what they did that they had to get the long handle spoon. I wonder why they got the long handle spoon. I started noticing that he lived that you have to deal with people with a long handle spoon. Give me the 50 feet, please. You have to mandate it because when people come to you dressed, I call it mascara on their soul because we'll be so broken down. Or other people will be shattered into pieces and they will glue themselves back together just good enough to come to you and dump on you. But they'll dress it up. You got to see what you're looking at. And it's not just people, it's even our own choices when it comes to careers, when it comes to making a lifestyle change or relationships. You need to see what you're looking at because if you don't, the consequences can be lifelong. They can be life altering. And I will tell you, one decision in a split second can change your life forever. So, Qui, you're exactly right. That's where the boundaries come in. And I talk about this often about setting boundaries. And don't just set the boundary, enforce the boundary. And yes, you're going to come up and you're going to come and you're going to run into people who are going to question you about those boundaries. But let me share something with you. Those very people that are coming up against or don't understand or questioning your boundaries are the very people who plan not to respect those boundaries. Those are the people who may be, I said maybe because I don't know your folk, I know mine. And when I tell you, those are the very folk that may intend to step over and cross those boundaries, who don't plan to respect those boundaries. So you have to set boundaries to protect your peace in your space. Because if you don't have a peaceful space, you won't have time to connect with your energy. The power that's in you that helps you to be discerning and connect with your intuition. You have to spend that time with yourself. And I know we go about our day and we're with ourselves all day long. But do you sit with yourself in quiet time? Do you meditate? Do you sit? Do you pray? Do you just sit in a quiet room? Or do you just sit and allow yourself to defrag that day? Because some of us, we get off work. I still have a corporate job. I get in the car and I'm on the phone. I'm either returning calls or I'm trying to reach out to people that I haven't talked to in weeks. And I'm trying to piece myself off again, trying to piece myself off to other things and other people as I'm driving home from work. And then we get home and we get in the house and it's full steam ahead. Hit that bathroom, and I mean you better go to the bathroom. Y'all already know Gladys is my bladder is disrespectful. Her name is Gladys, and she ain't glad about nothing half the time, okay? So I have to make a mad dash before Gladys show me just how displeased she is, and then I'm off for the races. So I'm doing everything I have to do at home, and I'll tell you, I missed the mark a lot at home. I miss the mark a lot when it comes to me, but everything else, I'm striving for perfection. I'm trying to make sure that everything is the way it's lined up, the way it's planned out to be. But when it comes to me, I had to learn. I had to learn. And on my journey through moments at times that I was very sick, I had to learn how to make myself a priority. And when I do that, I'm able to connect with myself and I'm able to spend time with my energy. And I also just tap into that quiet time when I'm meditating and when I'm praying because we have powers that we don't really know how to use yet. We have powers that we haven't mastered yet. And we have to get that training from life, from challenges, from hurdles, and from God. He is the master. He is the one that gave them to you. So we have to connect with our inner energy, our inner vision. Believe what you see about yourself. Because if you don't believe in you and the intuition that you have, you're going to be looking at a whole lot of stuff, but you won't be seeing anything. You're going to look, 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 and look, looking in the looking glass, but you won't see anything. When it comes to careers, we may look at it and it may sound good. It might it look good, but on the surface, if we ever deep dive into really what's for us and what's not for us, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that's where your learning comes in. That's when we learn lessons. So, talking about learning, I want to go over some tools that will help us when we're going on this journey to see what we're looking at. Because we don't want to just look at things, we want to see them for what they are. And a lot of times, personally, we looking at a lot. We ain't seeing nothing. Relationships, we looking, but we don't see nothing. And then we get mad because we don't have the foresight to see what we need to do or see where we need to be because we're not spending that time with ourselves and having those conversations with ourselves. And yes, those are some very difficult conversations we need to have because it makes us uncomfortable. We get uncomfortable and we are not comfortable with being uncomfortable. Okay. And sometimes, a lot of the times, we don't like what we see when we look at it. So we don't see it. We just look at it. Do y'all hear me? Do you get what I'm putting down? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? We don't like what we see, so we stop seeing it. We just look at it because looking at it doesn't, it makes us feel like we're not responsible to do something about what we see. You hear me? Are y'all feeling me? Are you following me? Because we'll see some stuff and we don't like it. So we'll go back to looking. Because when you see things for what they are, when you see what you're looking at, that requires you to do something. It requires you to make, yes, thank you. Yes, we do. Thank you, Queen. We do. We have to go deep. And when we see these things, it requires us to take action. And it's not always about other people. Sometimes it's about us. Because I saw a lot of stuff about myself. I know, baby. I saw a lot of things about myself, and I had to see it. I look, people say, "Oh, I look at myself all the time." That's fine and good. We may look at ourselves quite often, but do you see yourself? Do you truly see yourself? I had to finally see me and stop looking at me. I was wasting time with all the looking. Don't get me wrong. You have to start with looking. Tasha, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming on, love. Thank you. It's so good to see you. But we do have to spend time. We have to look, but we can't get stuck looking. We have to see ourselves. So let me tell you, I had to see me. And when I saw me, I had to believe what I saw. Because it's one thing if you see it and you go back to looking, or then you see it and you had to do something about what you saw. Because you had to believe what you saw. And when I saw myself, I had to decide, am I going to develop this? Am I going to believe what I'm seeing? And if I believe what I see about myself, I have got to do something about it. That was my decision. Now, I'm going to be so transparent. It's a lot of stuff that I saw in my life, and I didn't do anything about it. I just went to looking at. Matter of fact, I didn't even want to look at it anymore. I moved past that and went to looking at something else. But somehow God brought me right back and made me deal with that. You know you saw that. I know you saw that. I saw you see it. What you gonna do about it? You know that I see you seeing me. You see me seeing you see me. Yeah, we got to do that with ourselves. I had a joke with my brother. It was a cartoon. I cannot remember this alligator name. It was like from Woody Woodpecker, and it would say, "Who that say me? Who that say me? Say me, me. Who that say me? See yourself. You don't have to get validation from nobody else about what you see in yourself because we'll do that. We'll go to other people looking for them to validate us. God already validated you when He gave you the gift. He validated you when He gave you the power to see it. He put it in front of you for a reason. Now, how do we get the tools to see what we're looking at? And to choose to believe what we see and do something about it. I'm so glad you asked. I'm so glad that you asked. So I have like 5 tools that I know I learned, and I learned this through my certified program when I was going through the program to be a certified master life coach. And this, I unveiled a lot about myself going through that professional training. Life had done already lifed on me. I once I found out how to life back, I still needed help. I needed tools, and that's when I became a certified master life coach. And one of the top things in that lesson was mindfulness and mindful meditation. We have got to be more mindful about the thoughts we have with ourselves, the internal conversations that we have with ourselves, and don't be afraid to spend time with you. If you don't like spending time with you, who else you think gonna sit with you? We have got to learn how to enjoy our own company and spend that time having those conversations, baby, because I have conversations with me out loud. Oh yes, I talk to this chick all the time because I'm telling you, I have to pull myself because a lot of times I don't want to listen. I have not, it's so many times in life that I have not wanted to listen and I have paid the ultimate price. So I have learned, and my track record is raggedy. So I had to learn. And through life and professional training, I've learned to continuously get myself pulled all the way together by mindfulness and meditating, keeping myself reminded of who I am and being clear on looking and seeing what I'm looking at and not to be afraid of what I see when I might see some things that I don't like. Or I may see some things that don't line up with what I am I'm striving to do. Now, some of those things that we don't like looking at, some of that's a part of your journey. It's a part of your lesson, it's how you learn. Because the challenges or what we call issues, hurdles, whatever we want to call them, those are life lessons. God is training us up. I've said this before. You don't want somebody that's going to do surgery on you that have had not had extensive training to come do that surgery. When you going in life, whether it's professional, whether it's personal, God is training you up for everything that you will ever face in life. We just need to see what we're looking at. See when the training is coming up. See the tests when they come as a test. If you ask me, everything that I greet and meet is going to be a test for me, whether it's an individual, whether it's a circumstance. I ask myself, what am I learning by crossing paths with this person? What am I learning? Because I'm not always teaching somebody. I learn from other people all the time. People teach me a lot, and sometimes people are teaching you and they have no idea that they're showing you something that you're going to use and apply to your life. People show you about how they treat you or other people. People, they teach you for how they maneuver through life, because everybody in your life is not there to show you what to do. Some people step in and come across your path to show you what not to do. Oh, I'm not gonna be that person. Oh, I ain't do. I'll make sure I don't do that, because that's how we find ourselves in certain situations. We're always looking for the how to and the what to do, instead of also paying attention to what not to do or who not to be around. Back to the boundaries. Protect your energy, protect your peace, and protect your space. That energy, that peace, and that space, those are your mind, your peace of mind. That is so valuable, because in those moments in life, when you look around, you don't see nobody, you don't see your friends, you don't see your family, you don't see your husband, you don't see your coach, you don't see your mentor. When you in the midnight hours and your mind is rambling and those thoughts are getting louder and louder in your head, you got to speak to who you really are, because some of them thoughts need to be pushed out. Some of that stuff is old stuff, that's residue from your childhood, from your past. It doesn't have to be traumatic. It just may be some, excuse me, some ideals or ideas that have just been there over time from life experiences. So when you spend that time to meditate and get to know who you are and learn how to hear God's voice and learn how to use your energy and your intuition, that is key when you're doing seeing what you're looking at. The next one is you cultivate empathy. Be empathetic, towards people. And I'm not saying you have to always coddle people and just be there to pat them on the back, but be empathetic, just giving people grace to be where they are. And sometimes when you give people that grace to be where they are, sometimes you have to give yourself the peace to leave them there, because you're not here to help or fix or assist everyone. Give people the grace to be where they are. Ain't no love lost. You can be there, and it's okay that you're there. But for me, the journey that I'm on, I am going to need to leave you there in that grace, because it's not for you to push, pull, or drag them. Sometimes they're in that space because that's where God got them. God got them in that place for a reason, and they have to get it for themselves. When it's time for them to cross paths with you, if ever again, He'll bring them to you. But you must continue on in life. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Absolutely, Queen. You know the rule of thumb on a cruise ship or on a plane is you got to be prepared to save yourself. Put your mask on first so you can breathe in order to help somebody else. Don't die trying suffocate and run out of air because you're trying to help somebody else because you didn't help yourself. My grandma Margaret told me, I probably was 8 years old. I didn't know what she was talking about, but she said it throughout my life until I finally understood. Self-preservation is rule number one. Let's stop sacrificing ourselves because we do it. We do it without thinking. Let's stop sacrificing ourselves and thinking we're going to catch up later. We'll catch up on the back end, and that we don't never see the back end. We stay on the back burner. If you're doing mindful meditations, that'll help move you. You put yourself to the front of your to-do list. You can practice that empathy and be empathetic to where people are on their life's journey. But remember, give them grace and give yourself peace. Grace for them to be there, and you have the peace when you have to leave them there. Let's understand that and be very clear. That is how we keep ourselves from being the dumping ground, from being the hub from other people, piecing themselves back together just enough to drag over to you and dump their bad energy or their problems on you. Now, some of it is not, most people don't really intentionally do that, but they're so habitual with it and they're used to doing it and they're used to you taking it. That's when you introduce them to the boundaries. And those people are going to be irritated by those boundaries because what are they going to do with their problems now? Who are they going to go talk? Who are they going to dump on? Enforce those boundaries. Do mindful meditation, mindfulness about the thoughts and the conversations you have with yourself, cultivate empathy, journal, write down in your journal. Because a lot of times we don't take the time to sit down and really talk to a mentor or talk to a coach. Start journaling because journaling will help you realize some patterns and some things that you may see that are reoccurring in your life. And by journaling, that may help you identify some of maybe you need some new healthy habits. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Get off that back burner. I almost burned all the way up back there on the back burner. And you know, the back burner stay on simmer. It stay on simmer. It's never on warm. No, it's always simmering. Okay. We want to stay from back there. We want to give that time and energy to ourselves that we so generously give to other people. We got to generously give to ourselves because if you're not emotionally stable and your health and your physical status starts changing because your health is failing because you've been neglecting yourself, that that helps nobody, especially not you. You have to be important to you. We can't look to be important to other people. That has failed me, baby. Let me tell you. That has failed me. I learned that the hard way. I have to be important to me first. And I'm not going to feel bad about it. I'm not going to feel guilty about it because, baby, if yes, girl, it be crispy. Don't queen, don't it be crispy back there. But I'm telling you, be intentional about making yourself a priority. Don't let anybody hold you to feel guilty about putting yourself first because people think that you have to have a humble spirit and live in humility. Yes, God asked us to have humble spirits, but he didn't tell us to be the sacrificial lamb. That ain't our ministry. Jesus did that already. He did that on the cross. Ain't nobody coming back to do that. That's a one shot deal. That's a one time and he did it. It's a one and done. That's done. We don't have to continue to be the sacrificial lamb. People will place those expectations on you and use manipulation to make you feel guilty about putting yourself first. You got to see what you're looking at and you know who those people are and you know what those scenarios look like and you say, well, I'm gonna just listen and get it over with so they could go on. But when you listen, they're still dumping and that energy is still residing within you. You got to see that thing. When you looked at it and you saw it coming and you saw what you was looking at, how they did that, you gotta put the Wakanda on them. Put that Wakanda on them, baby. It's a no-go. Protect your space. And you can really be, if they allow you to be, hey, listen, I don't have the bandwidth to really deal with that right now or listen to that. And I wish you well, but I don't. And I've had to practice how to be diplomatic in deterring people from dumping their stuff on me because now at 52 years old, I'm not doing all that word searching and verbiage finding and so that you can feel good about it. Look, I don't have time for that because that's how I protect. That's just me. That's just how I protect myself. I don't have time for that. What I want you to do is spend some time trying to figure out why you continuously feeling this way. You got to put that back on them to figure it out because it's their problem. It's not yours. Okay, it's not your problem. You can't help everybody. You have to see what you're looking at in order to move forward into the life that you see for yourself. And that brings me to the next thing about trusting your intuition. Trust the things that you're feeling. Trust the powers that God gave you that's talking to you, that's saying, hey, 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 we're not doing that. Don't go that way. Go over here. No, no, don't do that one. Do this one. We have to learn how to develop those skills and listen to them because a lot of times we don't trust ourselves. Mm-mm. We don't trust ourselves. And then when we listen to other people who don't even really know what our story looks like from our point of view. So we have to get in a space where we learn tools to rewrite our story and take hold and take control of what our destiny is going to be. The price already been paid for you. You just got to step up and get it. So trust your intuition because your intuition is going to guide you to see what you're looking at. We can't keep looking. We got to see what we're looking at and not be jarred when we don't like what we see. When God allow you to see that thing, the responsibility is yours to do something about it. Plain as that. Because we already know what it looks like when you don't do anything about it. We already know what that looks like. But my God, today, what does life look like for you if you did something about it? What is something? Is to change the trajectory of your life and make some decisions that we have been delaying and sitting. We done crocheted a whole duvet blanket sitting on some things that we looked at and we started seeing what we were looking at. And a lot of times I saw some things I was looking at. I didn't even know if I doubted myself. I ain't even got it to deal with that. But I did have it to deal with it. That's why God allowed me to see it. When He allowed me to see it, He already equipped me with the power to do something about it. Are we prepared to see what we're looking at? When you start journaling, trusting your intuition, have some heart to hearts with yourself, heart centered reflections. Don't feel bad about striving for the things that you want and you see for yourself in your life because other people don't matter when it's your livelihood and it's your destiny because a lot of times we don't step outside with the thought of mm, I'm not gonna have no support. Oh, they're gonna have a hard time dealing with me doing this or accepting me making this decision. Listen, do not leave yourself in bondage. Do not lock yourself up in and encapsulate yourself in what someone else feels is okay for you. Do not get stuck in other people's version of you. That's not your version. That's not your truth. That's their truth. For whatever that means. Because the truth ain't always the truth. And that's gonna be a whole nother discussion and podcast. The truth is not always the truth. A lot of times we live life and when we share our bits and pieces of life, it's mainly fiction. It's not even nonfiction. Fiction means it's the made up parts. Because when people tell their story, it's of what they see it is versus what it is. I'm gonna tell y'all a real quick analogy, and I'm just telling my business, and I don't care because it done already happened. And listen, so when I was dating my husband, and it was my birthday weekend, he was living in Atlanta. He flew me up to come see him. Walked in the house, balloons everywhere, gift bags was everywhere. I mean, the house was decorated. Gifts were everywhere in the living room, in the dining room, in the bedroom. Me, because of life experiences I've had, I walked in that door and immediately said, you mean to tell me he couldn't get all these gifts out of here that these other tricks done bought him? He thought it was okay to leave all these gifts out here that he got from other women so that I could see it. I don't need to see that. They not here. I'm here. Because I've had experiences with some half men, because I have experiences with men and infidelity. I've had experiences with liars. And the whole time that entire house was decorated, all those gift bags were for me. But because I had a limited vision and I had a tainted view of men, and I took two things away. I took the experience away from myself to really realize that all of this was for me and to enjoy all the effort he put into decorating that house, buying those gifts, getting those gift bags, having all that stuff delivered. And I also snatched away from him the joy of seeing me happy and excited to receive those gifts from him. I totally stripped him. And most importantly, myself. And he does not let me forget that that happened. Now, it's some stuff I don't let him forget. I ain't going to talk about that on here. But what I'm telling you is my limited belief, because of my life experiences, what I was looking at. I didn't see what I was looking at because my vision was back in other bad experiences. I didn't see it. I looked at it, but I didn't see what I was looking at because I was too busy seeing some old, raggedy old stuff that I had dealt with. And that's when we get brought to some things to deal with and we choose not to deal with them. Ta-da! Here I is. I'm back. Come on and deal with me, or you're gonna take it on out on everybody else, or it's gonna affect you in other areas of your life later. Here I is. Surprise, surprise. Gotta deal with the stuff when it comes to you because if you don't, things like that will happen. So I shared that with you about seeing what you're looking at and not being, it's not really what you think it is. That was fiction. But let me tell you, it was all true that those gifts was from other women. Mind you, his birthday in September, my birthday in October. And I was like, you mean to tell me all this time went by and he couldn't get all them gifts out of here? And then I tried to act like I wasn't mad. But he saw me come in the house and I walked straight past that stuff, made a beeline to the bedroom, made a beeline to the bedroom. It was gifts and stuff in there. And then I got even more upset. Didn't stop to see what I was looking at, to pay attention to the type of bags that was in there. The type of was so stuck in my tainted, shattered vision from my other life experiences. Please don't do that to yourself. To this day, I regret that because later on, after, because time went by, he was like, what is the matter? And I was like, I'm not here to play no game. And I just, if y'all know me, the vent tongue was raggedy, just disrespect. And he drugged me out there and he was like, open it. And I spent half the night opening up all those bags, all those gifts. And I realized I couldn't get the moment back. As much as I was elated about all the gifts later, I had already poured acid on the whole experience because of my limited view, because I didn't see what I was looking at. So be mindful. See versus looking. We first have to look so we can open our eyes and open up our hearts to see. See what you're looking at. Practice mindfulness, mindful meditation, have intentional internal conversations with yourself. Because whatever you tell yourself, you're going to believe it. Your brain and your energy starts turning that into power like, oh, is this what we're doing? Okay, well, we're going to start drawing towards that energy. You got to be intentional with your words and with your thoughts. So please do mindful meditation. I'm excited to tell you all I am working on mindful meditations. I do it for a company in Dallas where I do it for their clients. So I am going to start trying to. This won't happen until later on in the year, but I am cultivating a program where I'm going to be uploading mindful meditations. So if you just need to kind of reconnect with yourself and just spend some quiet time, I will have something loaded up in the shorts part of the YouTube channel for you all to tap in and do some mindful meditation. So remember to do that, cultivate empathy, give people the grace to be where they are, and also give yourself peace to leave them there. Okay. Please practice that. Do journaling so you can identify some patterns and maybe try to find solutions to why these patterns keep happening. Trust your intuition. You've already been approved, access has been granted. You've already been validated by God because He gave you the powers to do so. Okay. Have heart-centered conversations with yourself. Okay, heart-centered reflections, and trust what you see when you spend that time. Keep yourself in a positive environment, positive reinforcements. I'm not saying you got to live life in rose-colored glasses, but everything that you encounter is not a problem. You're in training. You're being trained up. So when things come across your path, just okay, Lord, what am I supposed to see here? See what you're looking at when you come in encounter with challenges or issues or hurdles, whatever you want to call them. I just call it training day. When things come, I'm like, oh, okay, it's training day, and I'm okay. Let me just try to figure out what I'm learning here, and I do have to have those conversations with myself. I I do not take lightly. I know what I went through when I had to go through my certification program. I know what I had to go through when I had to make it through life and life back through life while I wouldn't be sitting here. And I take it very seriously about making a choice, a decision to grab your story and be the author. Snatch your pen back from doubt, fear, reluctancy, whatever energy that told you you couldn't do something. Snatch your pen and make the decision because you can partner with yourself, believe in yourself, pray, let God lead you. His way is the right way, I promise you. Now, if that's a problem, I don't know what to tell you. I am not going to apologize because God has been too good to me. So, if that is posing a conflict with you and your spirits, then this won't be the channel for you. But I pray the Lord bless you anyway. But I'm telling you, let that seed marinate because there's nothing that He can do for you that will be leading you down the wrong direction. So tap in, spend time with yourself. If you want to know more about rewriting your story, I have a 6-week coaching program that will help women who deal and struggle with doubt, fear, and reluctance. Also, have had a history of depression and anxiety, just as I have, and I help coach you through and help you navigate through those trials and through those layers of life to teach you the tools to help you rewrite your story, remove limited belief systems, and start believing that those dreams that you see can be thriving businesses or new lifestyle changes. So please, you can look at the ticket running across the bottom of the screen that you could text the word story, STORY, to 321-878-8587. The program is a 6-week program and it's going to start in September. So please get on our wait list. It is very limited seating. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm so excited. And I've had quite a few discovery calls with some people that are already on the wait list. So I hope if you want to get in, get on the wait list so that you can get in. But in closing, I want to say I've enjoyed talking to you all tonight. Thank you for taking the time to come on. I just love the fact that you come on and you spend this time with me. I do not take that lightly. God put you in my life for a reason. We are the transformation tribe, and we are going to coach up and transform through life together because that's what this is all about. So I love you. Thank you for coming on and joining the live. We will be back next week. What's the date? It is August 28th. August 28th episode. I can't tell you what it is because I pray about it. God tells me what it is and then I do it. So all I know for sure, I will be back here next Wednesday on August 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with another good news, a good news. I have some words for you for transforming through life. tapping into your chrysalis and let your wings spread and become that beautiful butterfly. So I love you all. Thank you for joining, and y'all have a good night. I love you. Bye.